Hey guys, it's Jessica Fury, host of Dumb Girl Podcast. Tune in every Monday for new episodes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Welcome back to Dumb Girl Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Fury. Today we are doing our first roundtable. And we have Raz Dembekjian. I'm going to butcher it. I'm sorry, Raz. And he is with Magnum Opus Inspections. And then I'm sorry, Mike, but we have Mike Damaryan from MD Rooter and Plumbing, and we have Pablo Engels from H&E Termite Solutions. Guys, maybe you should just introduce yourselves. Welcome to Dumb Girl Podcast.
Hi guys.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Wait, so how do you pronounce your last name?
Damaryan.
Oh, Damaryan. People butcher my last name, so I'm so used to it.
Yours is 5 letters. Ours is like double that.
Yeah, but still, people still don't pronounce my last name correctly. It doesn't matter if it's 4.
I agree with you. People still mess up my name. My name's 3 letters. They call me Raja. Like, do I look Indian to you? My name's not Raja, it's Raz.
It's awful.
It's so weird.
Awful. But you don't even look...
Armenian?
No, I know you don't. We already went through this. Like you.
Yeah, no. I look like super white Anglo-Saxon.
I was telling
a very
someone.
ethnic name.
I was telling someone the other day that the thing that you were explaining when somebody thought that you were didn't think you were Armenian, and then they started talking
Oh, they were
about
talking
you.
about me? Yeah, that happened to me in North Hollywood, near neck of the woods,
Of
bro.
course. Of course I have in North Hollywood.
The client was literally talking crap about me in Armenian, my own client, and didn't think that I was Armenian.
Did you wait until the end?
So I waited until the end. I asked them for the cash, for the payment, in Armenian, and their lady would just look at me like, "You're Armenian? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Here's $50 more." I'm like,
God forgive me.
like, get the hell out of here, bro.
Wait, so I wanted to do a roundtable with inspectors and people that are part of the transaction in real estate. And so bringing a termite inspector and a general inspector and a plumber was just essential. So before we even get into this episode, I want you guys just give me like a 30-second pitch and why I should even go forward with this episode and why it's even essential that you would even be a part of being in a real estate transaction. Okay. Mike, you can go first. 30 seconds.
30
That's
seconds, okay. Well, without knowing what's going inside in the walls, that stuff that you can't see, and you're spending all that money buying the real estate, you're gonna run into a lot of problems that are not gonna be seen just by looking at all the nice setup that they have. They staged it for you, but as far as what's really going inside of the house is the plumbing. It's like the intestines of the body of the house.
Okay, that was good. Raz, go ahead.
So for general inspection, you can look at the cosmetic details, the aesthetic, beautiful rafters, the white colored paint, and the floorboards or whatnot. But with a home inspection, you're looking at more of anything components that's related to structural, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing. We're not plumbers, we're not licensed electricians or contractors. However, as a general inspector, especially as myself as a master general inspector, I've been doing this for like 9 years, we're looking at important items that would save you or save the client in general tens of thousands if for whatever reason something goes wrong after moving in. So with us,
30 seconds. Pablo.
Okay, so for my end, for the termite inspection side, the benefit would be kind of to piggyback on what Mike said. A lot of things that you don't get to see because all covered by drywall and stage and things like that. And we're one of the couple of people that actually go inside the attic and the sub area to where most people don't go. And in reality, it's guaranteed that you're going to have termites, so it's really just a maintenance thing at this point. So if you can have anybody go in there and save you money, because you're going to have to spend some money at some point anyway.
How is it guaranteed?
Because Southern California, 10 out of 10 homes have termites. So
10 out of 10.
That's what I would say.
Can you, do you have to go into the walls? Like, how is it 10 out of 10 homes, new construction, all types
No, I mean, the only thing that would keep out would be new construction, but anything over, 10, 15 years, for the most part, you're going to have some sort of either dry rot or termite damage. So from that standpoint, we're always going to find something. It doesn't rain a lot in Southern California, but it rains enough or just a little to cause some damage around the house as well. So,
does someone who's a general inspector, do you immediately, like if you see termites, do you immediately just call someone else, or do you just take care of it as an inspector?
No, I wouldn't take care of it because I'm not licensed to do so. That's a specialist item and a special component to be inspected thoroughly. If I see signs of or visible dry rot or moisture rot or anything, or even termite droppings or whatnot, I would put it in my report with pictures, comments, and a recommendation for a licensed termite inspector to do a further evaluation of the property. And they'll come out with their own report because of the fact that they're licensed to do so.
Now, this is a question as a whole, like you can each answer it at your own time, but it's like, why is it that sometimes that people feel as if they can just go to one person and we'll just use a general inspector as the top of the umbrella, and it's just like, why is it that they just think that they can just go to one person to do all the things that they need? Because they're like, oh, my inspector is great, he'll just do the plumbing, he'll just take care of it, and they'll do the termite, and he'll save me 10 grand. So it's like sometimes, and people do that, people just like,
misconception. It's faulty thinking, in my opinion.
What were you gonna say, Mike?
I was gonna say that it's the wrong thinking that they think that one person is gonna be able to do everything.
And what makes them think that it's wrong? Because if they're trying to save money, and some people have a way of just manipulating the situation that they're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna, no, I have a guy and he'll take care of everything for me.
That's the thinking that it has people get into bad situations where they have to spend tens of thousands of dollars to fix their plumbing or get rid of termite.
And in most cases, when that does go on, what is either the percentage or the amount of time that somebody will call either of you and they're like, well, we did call one person and we decided that now we need to call another person, more of a specialist?
The more problems they get into, the costs are adding up, so they want to get a second or a third opinion, then they call. But if they called before, then they would know what they were getting into before they bought the place.
It comes out to a mentality, in my opinion, where I've seen from my own experience. I'm pretty sure you can agree as well. Is that they'll come out and say, oh, we have an inspector that will do termites, they'll do mold, they'll do sewer line, they'll do all these things. How come you don't do all this? I said, well, because which one would you rather want? Do you want someone to be mediocre at a bunch of different things, or do you want someone to be a master at one thing? These are specialist items. You need a licensed person to come through. Now, the good thing about Mike is you can go to a sewer line inspector only. All he does is sewer line inspections. But after this, if something's wrong with a sewer line, he's going to have to recommend a plumber to come in and make a quote for repairs to change the pipe or fix it. So that's an extra $300, $450, $500 you got to pay for now the plumber to come through. But what he does as a licensed plumber for over 19 years, he comes around and says, okay, this is what's wrong with your sewer line, and this is the quote for repairs for your pipe. You're getting two for the price of one. At the same time, anything when it comes to properties, you never go cheap. That's where I keep telling all these clients and all these agents, this is not a dinner reservation. These are millions of dollars that you're putting for your house. You may think that you're getting a good deal by saving a few $100 and cutting a few corners here and there during the inspection process. But when something goes wrong, it's going to cost you tens of thousands to the contractors and the plumbers and electricians to fix this. So in reality, you just screwed yourself. Yeah. You always take care of it from the very beginning. You don't, this guy's going to do it for a few $100 less. I saved myself a few $100 from the initial inspections. Okay. Something goes wrong. There's about, changing a sewer line pipe, what is it, like 7 to 12 grand?
Yeah, roughly.
Versus, this plumber is charging me an extra $200. I'm going to save that $200. He doesn't see that thing. That thing backs up. Sewage backups occur. Leaks happen in the foundation. Leaks turn into mold, touching the structural framing or whatnot. Over time, it's going to be a domino effect of just negativity and endless costs that you got to keep paying for.
Were you going to say something, Pablo?
Yeah, I mean, in my industry, like the misconception is that they can always get it somewhere else for free, or somebody can get a free inspection and things like that. And in my opinion, you don't get anything in life for free. So if your idea is you want to get the cheapest inspection because you're going to get the best price, where that's going to come at a cost. Usually the cheapest things end up costing you the most money. So in my opinion, it's always better to pay up front for a good inspection. That way, you're spending a little bit of money, but at least you're getting some peace of mind knowing that you're getting an honest opinion on what's really going on. Because anybody that comes out to do something for free, they're going to find something. Their job is to find something at that point because they're not getting paid. So in my opinion is, I always tell the customers, you got to pay for the inspection because there's an honesty, there's a pride thing for us where we come in, this is our livelihood. So we're going to give you the best thing that we can give you. The best product is being honest towards the client. So if we can give you that, everything else will kind of fall into place on when we're explaining the situation or the problems that we're finding.
Do you connect with realtors on like a day-to-day basis, or only if they hire you? Like if maybe an inspector telling you?
Like what do you mean connect?
I mean, aside from being here and meeting with me and connecting with me, I know that sometimes like inspectors or even mortgage brokers, they're always like out and about and like meeting new agents. Is that something that you do? Like that you meet?
Yeah,
realtors?
I mean, I meet a lot of new agents at a lot of the inspections that I do because I'm either there for one side, either the seller or the buyer, and I end up meeting the people from the other side. So I get a lot of clients that way. I consider myself a pretty good inspector, and I do a pretty good job. So when the other side gets to see that, a lot of my clients come from just doing a good inspection, and the other agent that comes on board and likes what I do, and they end up calling me that way.
But I think it's just a matter of like, if 10 out of 10 needs a termite inspector, that's almost 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, if it's homes that are over 10, 15 years, that's a good percentage of homes aside from new construction homes. So it's like, how are you creating more business? And then the rest of you guys can just add to it. Like, how are you creating more business based off of the business that you're doing right now, and to meet more people that are selling homes that are more than 10, 15 years old? Yeah.
I mean, luckily for me, termites always going to be an issue. It's always going to be a problem here in Southern California. So from that standpoint, I'm blessed that, sometimes I just get calls because I've been doing this for so long that my name is just around everywhere. And because termites are guaranteed as a maintenance thing. So I'm never too afraid of not having work just because I know what the situation is. But I'm never too afraid of running out of work just because the termites are always going to be here long after I'm gone. So
I thought you were going to chime in. I was like watching you, Raz, waiting for you to chime in. I have a question. How do you explain to either a realtor or a consumer or just someone that you may just strike up a conversation? Raz, I know you pretty well, and you will have a conversation with anyone. Mm-hmm. You will have a conversation with anyone. So I'll start with you. How do you explain the importance of a thorough inspection and how people try to cut corners?
The importance of it is so that way you can catch issues with the property before you close escrow. Because once you close escrow, it's on you. Before escrow, this is not your problem. This is the seller's problem. If it's a new build property, it's for sure the developer's problem on why they did recently we just did a house in Newport Beach.
Oh yeah.
Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
$5 million house.
$5 million house in Newport Beach. Old foundation, half of it. The other half, brand new foundation. We went into foundation crawl space. He found termite droppings and termite dry rot on the foundation of this new build property because the developers or the contractors failed to take the old foundation frames out and put new ones in so they can save money. Well, that old foundation had termites in it, and it went to the new one underneath. So now that brand new build house has termite infestation.
Wait, so they demoed it down to the studs?
Correct.
And then they did a rebuild on top of it?
Correct.
But they only changed some of the framing?
Correct.
Why?
Save money.
Tax
purposes? Right, but I understand that, but why? Like, I'm just trying to even look at it. Like, just to even look at, like, the foundation, like, to put it in my head, like, what? Like, why?
Because they don't want to do a thorough job. They want a lot of the properties that we talked about last time, like majority of the Beverly Hills or Bel Air or Homely Hills mansions or whatnot inspections I do. Yeah, these are what, $30, $40, $50 million mansions. They're not $30, $40, $50 million material used to build those mansions. Mm-hmm. It's the cheapest material known to man, but they charge a very high premium price for it per square foot. It's insane. And that's where we come in as inspectors. We're like, no, this is wrong. This is not right. This is wrong. This is wrong. And you can change it. You choose to change it or not. I'm not a code inspector. Do I know the code? Yes. But I'm not a code inspector working for the city.
At least you know what you're getting into.
Exactly. You want to find out what you're getting yourself into, because you're going to be coming in, not, oh, is this pretty? This is great. You wake up 2-3 weeks later in the morning. Why is this leaking? Why is this not working? How come this problem is happening? Why am I having rust-colored water coming out of my shower drain spout? What is this? What is that? Okay, what did I just get myself into? We're saving you from that, that headache you were saying.
And I think I'm going to piggyback a little bit. When you're buying a home, this is really the only thing that you're buying used. Most of the things we buy in life is all new stuff, So for a client, sometimes it's hard to understand that, because they come from a world where they lease cars, they buy new stuff this, they buy new stuff that. So when they come into a transaction and they're buying a 50, 60, 80-year-old home that has all these issues, there's ways of explaining the bad news. And I think the biggest key for me is trying to make the client understand, especially first-time home buyers, that this is just common stuff, nothing to be scared of. This is things that you can fix. But a lot of them have a hard time because they're not used to that mentality of buying stuff used, or it's their first time buying a house, so they don't have any conception of what it takes to fix a house to bring it up to quote unquote. So my biggest thing for me when I go to inspection is making sure that my client understands that, yeah, there's a problem, but there's a way to fix it, and we can fix it, really. And obviously real estate agent as well, making them understand that this is something minor. If it's something big, obviously you'll know, but for the most part, everything we do is fixable.
And also they could get credits back too.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, but like plumbing is like the first thing I think of when people try to cut corners.
It's the most expensive part of a home.
Why?
It's all the fixtures, your kitchen, minimum kitchen to build right now. It's going to remodel the kitchen is at least 50, 60,000. Bathroom, 20 to 30. So.
But what's the size of the kitchen at that price?
Normal size, let's say 12 by 12. And even that, depending on what type of appliances and everything that you put, the price could go up.
Is it because everyone's moving everything to copper?
Copper, and also a lot of things are smart now. You see the smart toilets and
Toto toilets and Neoras, wall mounted.
Yeah.
Miele.
There's people spending just $20,000 just on a toilet.
I love it. I don't want to touch anything. Everything just
You
opens up for me.
You just tap it with your foot and it flushes. That's
Next
it.
thing
You
is
don't
going to be
touch
a little
anything.
hand coming out, wiping.
And it has self-cleaning too.
It has self-cleaning,
Yeah.
and there's like the new ones actually they're coming out with is the heated seats and the massage.
Oh, the heated seats. I've used the heated seats.
And it comes with your own therapist too.
So all those things are
Morning.
plumbing related. So if something is not done correctly
Never
with
do
the
that.
installation, that leak it's a potential hazard to cost you a lot of money to repair. So before you buy into it, you need to have it inspected and see if everything is done right. Or even if it isn't, at least you know what you need to do.
And you can mention this as well, that there's 3 different types of copper plumbing.
Yeah.
It's not just copper
Yeah,
plumbing is the
yeah,
best.
Yeah.
Type M is the cheapest.
Yeah.
Type K is the thickest, most expensive. Type L is in between.
And what's the price point for
What's the price
thickness?
range?
And
Price-
what?
Price. Well, now it's you're at about 10 foot stick of, let's say, 3/4 is about $40. And with normal housing, it's a normal size to go into regular residential. And
What's the price difference between type K and L?
M is about 20, 25. L is about 45. K is about 60. So about if you can take into consideration that for plumbing a house, you're using about maybe 200-300 feet, 400 feet of piping, that's going to add up.
Is it essential for most people to move to copper, whether it's K or L or M?
Either copper, or now they're getting into PEX, which is plastic.
But I heard that plastic isn't as good.
It's not.
Depends on your area. It's not. Some people get. I've heard people say that they get a smell, like a plasticky smell. You know when you leave water in a water bottle for a long time.
No, I
Yes.
don't.
Well,
She shops at Irwan, guys.
Yeah,
She shops at Irwan, all right?
I don't.
Well, some
It is
people
so
do.
not good to
It's
have
not,
a
it's
plastic
not.
bottle.
It's
Sorry,
not.
I'm going to just
Yeah.
go off topic. Having a plastic water bottle with water left in the car, and you're not supposed to drink it if it's been sitting
Yeah.
in the car.
And think of
'cause
that
the
for
bacteria.
your pipes in your home with
I mean,
That's
I'm full of
not-
with
bacteria.
the heat in the attic, and it heats
Do
up
I
our
look healthy to you?
plastic. So
If I'm really thirsty, I'll be like, oh, I found this bottle of water in my trunk. It's been there probably for the past 6 months.
Wait, what's an
Taste it.
example? And I want to start with Mike. What's an example of a situation that and be as specific as possible? A situation where somebody has tried to cut corners and they completely just fuck themselves because they were like, holy, and obviously when they're going to a licensed professional, and they know what they're doing, and experience does come with seeing so many different scenarios.
recently, there was a property I looked at, and under the house in the crawl space, they had tried to fix a leaky toilet, the flange, where the toilet sits on, and their piping was cast iron with the old lead and oakum connections. And what they did is they took that out, that 90-degree elbow, they took it out, put plastic, and then just silicone the cast iron where it transitions from the plastic to the cast iron. And underneath the house was all pea water and everything from
Ew.
the toilet. Everything was a mess.
Is that the one that you showed me?
Yeah, the
Oh,
one in
God.
Pasadena.
Because it flooded? Is it just like this? Did
Because
something
it's not
cause
a
it to
correct
flood?
connection. Yeah, I mean, at that point where the silicone, when you first put it, yeah, it's fine. But after movement and the silicone and the heat and the cold, it's gonna contract, and you're gonna lose that airtight connection.
Mm.
And
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 what
they're-
was the
and-
situation? Somebody called you because of that? And
Yes,
did they
they
say that
wanted-
they called another plumber or they tried it themselves? What was
they
the
had
situation?
just, it was Raz, your client, remember, the Asian guy, and he tried to get it fixed, and he called me to give him an estimate for that.
I can't stand cheap people. I don't know if I said that last time or not. Cheap people, to me, is equivalent to an idiot.
You get what you
An
pay
idiot?
for.
Yeah, 100%. You can be frugal, you can be thrifty,
Yeah.
but there's a difference between looking at cost and value. Wealthy
Of course.
people look at value. Poor people look at cost.
Yep.
And they don't realize that that small cost is going to cost 10 times over, even more and more and more. Value, this is what it is. I get the best of what I can get, and get the best value, and after that, just move in and you're good to go. You don't have any issues. But there's a reason why I'm expensive. There's a reason why he's expensive. There's a reason why he's expensive. Because we do valued work. We're not the same as any other inspector out there. There's a million inspectors. You can go on Google and type in home inspector near me or termite inspector or plumber near me. A million of them come up. There's a massive difference between what that plumber or what that termite inspector or general knows and what his work ethic is like versus somebody else that's going to do a quick mow, blow, and go and take your money, 20 minutes in the house, get out, see you later, leave. And they don't check everything. And that's what I come across as. They never check. I've seen other inspectors, even plumbers. I had a plumber, here's a perfect story. I did an inspection for specifically Thomas James Builders in Cheviot Hills, new build construction. I was there with the agent. He was from agency, and did the inspection for the client. And the project manager was there. And I asked him, I said, what do you see wrong with this tankless water heater? They put 2 Navien tanks. I'm like, okay. The temperature pressure relief valve, they put in Schedule 40 3/4 inch PVC pipe.
Wait, what's a
I-
PVC?
Polyvinyl chloride. It's a
Basically plastic.
plastic. It's cold water treated only, not hot water. That
Oh.
temperature pressure relief valve, when you release the pressure, like 140-degree water is going to be coming out of that valve. It's going to melt the pipe. You need to put either copper or CPVC, which is hot and cold water treated.
Right.
That plumber, licensed plumber apparently for 25 years, he goes, yeah, PVC, it's okay. I said, show me in the code that's okay. I'll wire transfer you $100,000 right now. And he just looked at me and goes, and then he came back, talked to a few people, whatever, in a different language that I don't understand. They came back, yeah, I'm going to change that out. I'm going to put in CPVC. It's your own code. You don't know this, but he's a licensed plumber. He apparently knows more
Do
than
you
I
think
do.
that other of those properties of his contain that same thing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
So if he were to sell
They're
it to
just
someone
used to it.
else,
They're used to doing it that way. They learned the wrong way when they were coming up in the trade, and they just continue that way. Some people don't know, and they don't take the time to find out.
It's a different. I've taken him on some other job sites in the past where not only are we inspectors, but construction consultants to developers, people that want to build a property, want to make sure what's to code and what's not to code before the city's code inspector comes in, so that way they can pass and just move on with no delays. That's what a lot of developers are doing now. They're calling us for that specific purpose. He knows the plumbing code. I know the plumbing code up to a certain point. Do I know everything in extreme detail? Of course not. I'm not a plumber. He is, and he's been doing this for God knows how long, and I know for a fact that he's been doing this for really well for a long time. Other plumbers, they claim they're licensed plumbers, but they're not. They're what is it? They're subcontractors
Yes.
underneath using somebody using their
They
license.
work for somebody that's licensed.
So it really annoys me. And honestly speaking, I've seen more issues in new build properties than I do in properties that have been around for 100 years.
okay, so then give me an example of a time in an inspection that somebody has to cut corners, and they've called you. Similar situation to maybe what Mike was sharing.
Well, I think the
If
perfect
you see
example
most
Was
of
this
it-
Sarbonne property?
If you
Newport
see
Beach
most
one.
of it
Newport Beach one
in
was
new
for sure.
construction,
Because-
Yeah.
if you see it in new construction, what is something that you've seen?
Newport Beach one we were talking about. So, for example,
that was a new construction?
yeah,
Really?
Well,
It
here's the
didn't look
thing,
like
like-
it.
half of it.
The agent told us when we were there that it was a brand new construction.
Uh-huh.
So the agent's selling it to us as a brand new build. We're not going to find anything. Everything's brand new. So, but we already knew, like, okay, something's off here. So when we go into the house, that's when we realized, okay, there's new foundation and old foundation. So obviously I know that the house wasn't gutted down to the studs and wasn't knocked down, that half of it's old and half of it's new. And I think some of that falls back on the builder as well. And then just the lack of...
You left. I talked to the general contractor.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
The seller put me on the phone with the GC,
Okay.
and I was like, "Look, I'm not trying to step on your toes, and you sound like a nice guy. The seller's saying great things about you, so forgive me, and I don't mean no offense when I say this to you, but were you high when you were building this house?"
Oh my God. You said that to him?
And I verbatim said that to him because I was so I can't stand people that lie to me. Don't lie to me. Just be honest. Be forthcoming. Be transparent. Don't be a prick. And he was just like, "Well, what do you mean by being high?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, were you high, drunk? Were you blind, or did you not properly watch your subcontractors do a good job?" I'm sending you pictures. I have your phone number. I'm gonna send you pictures of my footing post. You remember the footing post? The pier sticking out of the ground. There was a massive crack. It looked like somebody took a sledgehammer and broke the freaking brand new pier. This was the brand new pier, not even the old one. Brand new. The foundation wall had a massive, maybe I would say about half to 3/4 inch width, and it was a super deep crack in the brand new foundation wall. How does that happen in a brand new wall? Drunk, blind, idiot.
And not only that, we're Newport Beach, so we're near the coast. We're no more than a mile away from the ocean, and we're under the house, and the whole house is insulated, and there's not enough vents. So when I see that, and I'm like, okay, how does the builder do work on a $5 million house and not know that we're less than a mile away from the ocean? You need more vents in the sub area. You don't put insulation in the sub area because you're just going to cause mold and dry rot and things like that. How come the termite guy knows this, and the home inspector knows this, and the plumber knows this, but the builder doesn't know this? And the builder knows this, but
He just wanted to play stupid.
he knows that most people are not going to check underneath the house. City inspectors too.
City inspectors don't. This is what I said on my last podcast where I was with you. City inspectors get paid salary. They're engineers. They got a 4-year bullshit degree from college. They got an engineering degree. They work for a city. They make maybe $60,000 to $75,000 a year. They make horrible pay. So whether they're in the house for 10 hours, or they're in the house for 10 minutes, they get paid the same. So a lot of these luxury and ultra luxury, specifically ultra luxury properties, they get bought off. So I don't know why when somebody says to me, "Oh, the code inspector passed me for this," yes, either you paid him off, or B, worse yet, they don't even check everything.
Is it because it's a high end?
It's a high-end property. They can care less. They don't want to be there. They're getting paid salary from the city. So why should I be here and waste my time? I'd rather just be back at the office and just play solitaire or talk to my girlfriend.
And if
Why am
something
I
goes
here?
wrong, they're not
wife.
liable for
They're
anything.
not liable for anything if something goes wrong. Exactly. If there's something goes wrong, they're not liable for that shit. But I go in there and I'm like, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. Code inspector will come up to you and say, any electrical outlet within 6 feet of any water source has to be GFCI protected. Okay, does that code inspector check that outlet to be properly grounded?
Do you get
wired properly?
Do you get like sort of like an adrenaline rush when you're like, this is
I take an adrenaline rush. Sadistic little pleasure that I have is when the listing agent is being a prick with me. And it has happened before when I was doing these ultra luxury properties. It was like an 8,000 or 9,000 square foot house sitting on like 3 acres. So I'm the listing agent, 20 minutes in, "Are you almost done?" I said, "Excuse me?" And she goes like, "Are you almost done? Because I have things to do." I said, "Okay, well that seems like a personal problem. This is an 9,000 square foot house. I'm going to be here for like 9 hours without stopping. I just started." And she goes like, "Are you serious? This is a waste of time. I don't know why you're even here. This is a new build property." I'm like, "I don't know if you know this or not, but are you a listing agent, by the way?" And made it even worse, she's a listing agent's assistant. So
a lot of assistants do sit at inspections.
A lot of agents that sit at, or assistants that sit at inspections know to shut your freaking mouth and don't bother the inspector until he's out of the house.
Yeah.
And then move on with it.
Most of them
This
are
one
just-
was like,
Mouthy, huh?
my God. So I took my time. I literally went to the bathroom. I had like a 30-minute conversation with my wife.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, "Hey, by the way, are we going to go out to dinner with these friends tonight? Or are we going to go out? I'm planning out my personal schedule for like the whole time. Made it even longer just to piss her off. And then on top of that, I was like, on purpose, usually if somebody's near me, I don't like to speak into my phone to write the report. So I just type it away. But this time I was saying it out loud. Major safety hazard. This presents itself as a minor safety hazard. That's a code violation. That's going to cost probably about $5 to $7 grand. Let me call my electrician, put him on FaceTime. Let me look at all the panel here. I mean, this agent's assistant was like, you can tell that she was like just taking notes, everything, and she couldn't keep up with how fast I was talking.
It's like
I
mouthing
couldn't
off to a
stop
police officer
laughing.
when you're getting a ticket.
Oh my
You're asking for it.
God. This was the best thing in the world. Like, it was comedy. It was pure comedy. And then she was like telling me things like, the assistant, by the way, which she just became an agent like since breakfast. And she just, and she just tells me like, we're not going to give him any repair credits. I'm like, you don't have to give repair credits. I'm just giving you a heads up that your boss, your agent, is going to get a copy of my report, and now you have to legally disclose that to the next potential buyer. So I guarantee you guys are going to go sell for this. The client was asking me after the inspection was done, how much do you think it's going to cost to fix all this stuff? I'm like, maybe 30, 35,000. She was like, okay, so how much should we ask for repair credits? I'm like, fuck it. Ask
Do
for
people
85K.
pay off the inspector?
Yeah.
Do people pay off inspectors
I've been approached
in a
once.
transaction?
I've had, for me as a home inspector, I've been approached one time and I refused to work with that agent ever again. That happened 6 years ago.
And what was the amount of money? Don't say the name of the person, but what is the amount of money that you were approached for?
10 grand
Oh, okay.
for a $20 million property. I was like, are you serious? Put like another zero behind it.
Yeah.
I might consider
Make it worth.
10,000
Make it worth my life.
to 10,000. No, literally, she literally asked me, she goes like, Raz, she was telling me not to, like, she was representing the buyer. I was there for the buyer, not the seller side. That made it even worse. And she was telling me, please do not write down every safety issue you find in the house on the report. I'll give you an extra $10,000 after closing the escrow because my buyers are scared shitless. They're very easily scared, and I don't want them to get spooked. So help me, help you. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work.
She's
Oh
not a
my
good agent.
God.
I'm sorry. So that was an agent that
my
sadly,
God.
I would probably
But
say.
you can lose your
like,
license. Like as agents, you can lose your license.
Oh, but we don't have. See, this is a weird thing. To be a termite inspector in California, you got to be licensed by the state. There's a state licensing board. There's a state licensing board for plumbers. There's a state licensing board for agents.
Yeah.
State licensing board for everything. The only one that doesn't have a state licensing board is general home inspectors in California. You take an online course, 2-3 weeks later, pass it, boom, you're a certified home inspector.
Oh.
But the sad part is the difference between that and everyone else, or me and everyone else, is I come from construction background. I have a degree in construction management. I was U.S. Navy on top of that. So it's like I work with the plumbers and contractors and termite guys. I've called them before. I'm like, hey, by the way, if I'm free, I have nothing to do on that day. My guys are all doing inspections. I'm free. If you guys have jobs that are nearby or whatever, can I just come and shadow you? I just want to watch and see what you guys do. Not because I want to learn so I can open up my own, oh, by the way, I do sewer inspections now or I do termite inspections. No, it's because I want to know what are these guys looking at and what are they looking for, so that way I can be a stronger inspector myself. And I did that over the years. That's the reason where I'm at right now.
Okay, subject of buyers specifically. What is a red flag that buyers should be aware of when they're looking at a property?
Foundation and roof.
Raj, you're not starting first. I'm letting Pablo start.
Termites and dry rot.
I get to take a break.
but it's like a red flag where it's like when they're looking at the property, are they looking for something specific to see if it's like termite? Like obviously you're going to know an infestation when you see it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, for me, red flags, obviously a lot of dry rot, especially underneath the foundation, anything like that is usually a red flag for me. Any water seepage in the foundation, that's always a big red flag for me.
like when you see like the stain in the wall or in the ceiling?
No, it would be more of like, moisture in the sub area from improper drainage, spores building on the wood because the air quality is so bad because the drainage is bad and there's excessive moisture. I'm always concerned about moisture stuff because moisture causes a lot of problems. Termites, they eat wood. We know that. But water will go through everything and anything. So I'm always concerned about anytime I see a house with water damage or bad drainage, I'm always concerned, and I always let at that point, the inspector know or the buyers know that, foundation would probably be recommended in mold and things like that.
Are there specific areas that this is more common in, or it's just
I would say now, because we've had a lot of rains here in Southern California the last year or so, a lot of the raised foundation homes, unfortunately, just are not built to drain so much water. So 90% of the homes that I've been going to that are on our raised foundation have some sort of drainage problem that really becomes a bigger problem. So,
Got it. Mike, what's a red flag?
Any DIY homeowner try to fix something, or a handyman special type where they have the accordion drains. When you see that, you already know the rest of the house is.
But can a buyer see this? Can a buyer
look under the sink, and if you see any accordion drains, then it's better you have a more thorough inspection because you're gonna find something.
Oh my God! I mean, does that even exist?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Embarrassingly enough.
I was gonna be like, I would be so
It's
embarrassed.
really bad.
I'd be like, Raz is coming over. Let's do.
I've laughed really loudly before. I'm just like, and the buyer's like, what happened? I'm like, this idiot put a freaking accordion connection piece for a P-trap.
Well, that idiot was me. That's what the homeowner said.
But do you see it in like specific areas, or it's just like under the sink?
Under the sinks most of the time. That's the thing with plumbing. It's hidden away.
Yeah.
You have to dig into the house to find out.
But you also work with pools. Do you work with the plumbing on pools?
No.
Oh,
I'll be a
got it.
licensed pool inspector.
Yeah, but I know a couple
We'll run the
clients that
gas
they're
line
having a plumber
to
look
the pool
at the
heater. That's about
plumbing.
it.
It has a separate code for it.
Got it. Well, I know that a couple of the clients are redoing their pools, so they also call the plumber just to check.
I would
Maybe
recommend it. I
the
wouldn't recommend
gas
a pool
lines.
inspector. Yeah.
For a pool heater, maybe. But usually the plumbing part of the pool is done by the pool contractor.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. I don't
I wouldn't
know.
recommend a plumber.
I don't know. This pool contractor has separate people for separate parts of the job, but okay, Mouthy.
I'm taking a break.
No, I want you to. But this is what I love, is that you enjoy, Raz. You enjoy knowledge. Like informing people. Like you genuinely inform people for a reason, because you have so much passion.
Because
I
got
know you
fucked
like
by
to
a
like.
home inspector
Yeah,
10
but I
years
was
ago.
gonna
That's
say,
why.
I know that you like to like fuck around with people, But it's like, and I'm sorry to fuck up your life for a second, and it's going to cost you this, but you save agents and buyers a ton of money. So, I mean, red flags. Give me like 3 of them at least. And the only 3.
And don't give us names.
Yeah. Don't give me names.
From this brokerage.
No. Because it's a red flag that buyers should be aware of when they're inspecting a property. Even if they're looking at a property with an agent.
Okay, when you're going into a house and you can smell the fresh paint inside the house, and you can see that cheap laminate floor, that to me is already a green light letting me know, like, hey, by the way, there's going to be a lot of shit wrong with this house.
Wait, the paint smell?
No, because a lot of these people, what they do is when they call it a turnkey type of property,
Yeah.
they just gave it brand new paint, interior or exterior. They put some brand new, like, cheap laminate flooring or whatnot, and they say, oh, look, we just we remodeled the whole house.
Lipstick on a pig.
Yeah, exactly. Lipstick on a pig. That's exactly what it is. Or I take it to more of a violent side. I call it like a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound.
Yeah.
It's essentially what it is. And oh my God, this happened recently with one of my friends that's an investor. He was looking to purchase a 5-plex out in West Hollywood, and the agent from Orange County, how she's connected to West Hollywood is beyond me. But she was there, and I was walking around with my buddy, and he goes like, dude, Raz, look at this electrical panel. How old is this? I'm like, dude, this thing is ancient. And you can hear the agent behind us saying, the listing agent going, it's not ancient, Raz. It's historic. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's not a selling point.
I'm like, dude, come on.
Oh my
Stop
God.
bullshitting, man.
Oh my
Just
God.
tell it like it is.
Oh my God.
But like literally, like the difference between me and her, it would be like, there's dog shit on your wall, by the way. And her would be like, look how beautiful that brown substance.
Look at that piece of
accents
art.
the couch on that side. It's feng shui. It's amazing. But this is what I mean. So I've seen another issue would be like, other than the paint or whatnot, it would be, oh, we just changed out the sinks and the toilets. We just put new ones in. And why? I've seen plumbers do this before. And obviously not you, but I've seen plumbers do this before. Brand new toilet. I have my knee pad on. I push the toilet. The whole thing just
Loose. Yeah.
moves. No caulking, no nothing.
the toilet?
The whole toilet just moves off. It's like it's sitting on a wax ring, on a rubber flange.
The flange, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's-
they probably used the old flange and they didn't repair the flange. That's why.
What?
If you break, there's a seal around that flange.
Yeah.
If that thing gets broken or disturbed in any way, you don't have to use that toilet for 30 years. You'll smell nothing but raw sewage.
Yep.
Ew.
It's friggin' disgusting. I've smelled a lot in commercial properties or industrial.
Is it more common in commercial properties?
Because they don't care for commercial properties. But for residential, like homes or whatnot, brand new toilets, like, what are you doing? And on top of that, I think, in my opinion, it would be beneficial for agents to talk to Mike specifically, because I don't want to say plumbers, because I know other plumbers, they're complete idiots. They don't know their job. They're I don't like them. I really don't. These are the only guys that I vouch for. You ask me who's your best plumber? My personal go-to. I use them for my properties. These guys are the only people I vouch for. And what you should always tell agents, in my opinion, is, or what agents should ask is, there's also 2 different types of toilets made for men and women. There's the round ones that are made for women. There's the elongated ones. Those are made for men. And how do you know? Have a man sit down on a round toilet and see how uncomfortable that is.
Why?
Explain that, go ahead.
No room for the
Our hips are
package.
placed a little different.
Granted, in California, you can do surgically, you can remove or add on anything, but naturally,
You can just get a non-binary toilet.
gender fluid.
Yeah, and solve all problems.
What about the Japanese toilets?
They're elongated, or
Yeah.
they're elongated, all of them.
Oh, okay.
Just get a bidet.
I'd fall into one.
You wouldn't fall in one.
I would fall into one. I'm like Humpty Dumpty on a toilet.
Oh my
and
God.
once I get in, I can't get
don't.
out.
Oh my
I'm
God.
like the fat
You
dude,
would,
like with his legs
you
up.
would have not wanted to be at this property the other day. They were, the toilets were low.
Oh, I can't stand that
Toddler
shit.
toilets.
Oh,
No,
I
they
hate
weren't
those.
toddler toilet, but they were low.
How old
like,
was this house?
Wait, I'm trying to think what day it was. I don't remember what day it was and which house I was at. I think it was on Wednesday. I think it was in Malibu, but it was just so low. Like it was,
Like your knees would be all the way
Yeah.
up there.
like it was
Like
like.
you don't need the stepping stool.
I mean, for me, it's no issue because I'm short. But it was like a low toilet. It was like this. It was low. What would you do?
gotta
I
pee on
mean,
your knees.
Yeah, exactly.
legs are
my God.
straight, just hanging
It's
out.
so burning hot. What is this?
Okay, Raz, you're good at this, so I'm going to start with you. How does a home inspection report impact negotiations between the buyer and seller? And how have you personally saved money on either of the side? Because you and I have talked about it personally, how you've saved buyers, sellers money.
It depends on how you word the report and how you write the report. So I personally don't make up anything and out of nowhere and just put it on the report. Plus, anything that passes or fails has a picture, so it's indisputable at that point. A lot of other inspectors, they write a essay with words with no pictures. How do I know that's for honest truth or not? Mine's with a picture. Now, if you word it correctly, a lot of inspectors would put down like, this needs further attention. This is a cosmetic discrepancy. This is a minor discrepancy. I don't use that kind of that jargon. I put in what's a major safety hazard and what's a minor safety hazard. What something is already as a safety hazard or what can lead to a safety hazard if left untreated. At the same time, what's cosmetic discrepancy or not. And then on the last page of the report, I make a summary breakdown of line items letting you know exactly where it is, the safety hazard, and what it is. All down. So I don't expect the agent or the buyers to read 80, 90 pages full of pictures and comments and recommendations. You just get to the last page, and it goes to tell the listing agent, be like, hey, look, my buyer, Jessica, we're looking for about $85,000 back in repair credits, because that's how much it's going to cost to fix all this stuff, as a ballpark estimate. Listing agent can do one of two things. Either, okay, fine, we're good, or B, counter by saying, or one of three things. They can come back and say, we're not going to give you anything. We're not going to give you shit. I have had agents in this market claim, oh, we have like 15 offers on this house, and we chose you. Shut the hell up, dude. Nobody's freaking able to afford a 7 or 7.2% interest payment on their freaking $1.3, $1.4 million house. Don't give me that shit. You don't have any backup offers or any major offers. And even if you did, the buyer's agent should give a copy of my report as a threat to the listing agent. When that happens, they legally have to disclose everything wrong with that house to the next potential buyer. So that way, if one of two things happen, either A, they get the money back to repair all of the issues of the property that was not even theirs to begin with, or they cover everything. At the same time, they're left with another $15,000, $20,000 as profit. You're welcome. So my point is that it depends on who it is that you contact, who can, and by the way, it also, I don't think you were with me on this property, but this was a property out in Studio City maybe about 3 years ago. This young girl, she bought the property for $4.2 million all cash, and the seller was claiming that the foundation had serious issues. They hired a foundation contractor and inspector to come in and to quote for repairs for a sister wall and everything in the foundation. So he came out, and I'd like, give me the report, please. It was like 12 pages long, no pictures. It was just paragraph after paragraph, claiming that it's going to cost about $34,000 for that foundation to be fixed. I'm like, this is bullshit. I don't buy this. I don't believe this guy. I need to call my guy Max. My guy Max came out. He came out, checked it out. He goes, Raz, can I talk to you for a second? I'm like, dude, is this bad or not? Because I didn't see anything wrong inside the foundation when I was down there. He's like, Raz, there's nothing wrong with the foundation. If they want to put in a sister wall for whatever reason, it'll cost anywhere between $1,500 to $2,200, not $34,000. Sellers were trying to screw over the buyers, big time. It all depends on who you work with and how great those guys are. My guys, and all the other guys that obviously that are not here right now, these are guys I vouch for. They're the best at what they do. They're exactly like me, if not, they work even harder than I do. These guys are masters at one thing. This is all they know. So that's what I like to use as a dream team. Whenever I go to a property, I want to bring these guys with me.
And they're honest.
Very honest.
Yeah.
Very honest, integrity, and even though we find issues, all of us find issues on the report, we have never been in this situation where we actually scared the crap out of our buyers.
No.
We've never come up to them and be like, hey, by the way, you're fucked. Like, no, we never said that. We always explain it in a way where it's very simple. It can be fixed. This is who you can contact or whatnot. They've never been like, oh my God, am I going to be in deep money pit for me buying this house? No, relax. We're all good. This is what it is. Now, that's what I scare the shit out of the sellers. I don't scare the shit out of the buyers. That's a different story. That's a sadistic pleasure I have.
I always try to find a reasonable solution to whatever the problem may be.
And how do you, excuse me, negotiate? And how does a home inspection report, what I was asking Raz, impact the negotiation between the buyer and seller, even from your
The information
as a plumber?
that I provide to either the buyer or the seller, they could use to their advantage. If it's a buyer and the sewer line has major issues, and estimated cost to repair all that is, let's say, 15, 20 grand, then they could use that to get some credits back, or any way that they could negotiate themselves and come to understanding. And one way or another, they have to
Drop the price of the
either
house.
drop the price or
On the
just
plumbing, you can drop the price?
Anything.
yeah.
Depends on how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
Or they could split it instead of.
This is Raz's podcast.
Yeah.
Pablo.
I want to smoke my vape.
Can you?
What'd you say?
I want to smoke my vape.
I'm just going to bring Raz every time. Just sit here, a smaller version.
Can you?
Like Elf on the Shelf.
Can you ask the question again? if you don't mind?
Yeah. How does a home inspection report impact negotiations between the buyer and the seller? This is coming from what you do.
Yeah, so I guess it would depend on whether we're representing the buyer or the seller. But when I'm going into a house, I already know I'm there to. People are going to spend money. That's a guarantee. So usually, if you get decent agents on both sides and the people are reasonable, then they're not going to have a problem with negotiating the cost of what it's going to take to fix the problem, and they're going to meet somewhere in the middle. They're going to credit the buyer. I never look at what I bid as an issue, because really I'm just there to present facts. So if the facts of what I'm presenting is really going to kill the deal, then somebody along the line dropped the ball and wasn't giving their client the right information. Because, like to what Raz said, like, we're coming in and giving you worst case scenario, we're telling you everything that's wrong with your house, but really there's a solution for everything unless you're dead. So, if we're coming in and we're telling you have X, Y, and Z to fix and that's going to kill your deal, well, we're really not killing your deal. Whoever is representing you did a bad job on preparing you and guiding you on how this process is going to go, because all you're really going to hear from us is bad news, because we're there to present things that are wrong with the house. So, there's ways of presenting bad news. We try to be as cautious as possible to make sure that we don't kill a deal, or we don't, say the wrong thing or scare off a client, because we're there to really help you close the deal and move on to the next escrow.
Yeah.
So.
And all three of you guys are definitely just like a Google search, like a termite inspector, a home inspector, like a plumber. Most people are just like, blah, 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 or let me put it on Nextdoor. Who's a good, so it's like whether they're using you individually or they're looking for a home inspector or a termite inspector or a plumber, how does someone know if they're getting someone who's good, reputable? I mean, honest is definitely something you have to just go with your best intention, but
I think that comes with time. In our cases, we've been doing this for a while, so we have the luxury of other people speaking for us and vouching for us. Because it's really hard. I mean, for me, it's hard to find trust in somebody that just meet randomly on the street. So going into my inspection, I'm just, do what I know that I'm there to do. I'm honest. I always encourage people, if you want to get a second and third opinion, by all means. I'm never shy or scared off by people wanting to get a second or third opinion, just because I'm confident in what I do. I feel like I'm the best when I'm there. So when somebody wants to shop around, I'm never scared of that, just because I stand by what I do. So I'm never too.
What's the average cost?
I mean, for an inspection, you're looking at, anywhere from $150 to $250, $300, depending on the size of the house. On average, 2,000 square foot house, you're probably going to spend $3,000-$4,000, on average. It's what the cost is for dry rot and termite stuff. So
Okay.
2 words: sample report.
Okay.
For a general inspector, for sure.
To find if they're reputable.
That's it. Sample report. Do not shop around for price quotes. Don't be an idiot. Don't get the cheapest cost. Am I expensive? Yes, I am expensive. I am a 2,000 square foot house, North Hollywood. I charge $750. Other inspectors, maybe $350, maybe $450 max. That's about it. But there's a difference between quality. Any inspector or any tradesman can bullshit you all day at like a used car salesman.
Yep.
But the only thing that makes it for sure that's a legal document is that report. So go and shop around with 10 other inspection companies, but get a sample report from each one. Read the reports, see who provides the most detail. Go with that guy. You find somebody that does more detail than we do, by all means, let me know and let us know so we can sell our companies and go work for that guy. I guarantee you it doesn't exist. But the price, that's what comes out to. Look at the value of the details I'm looking for. Because at the end of the day, the details is going to save the buyer. Details are not going to save the seller. It's going to save the buyer. So
I'm always pushing you, Raz. I'm like, oh, just call Raz.
plus there's only one Raz.
And then
there's
they're
only
like
one Mike,
taking
and there's only one
selfies
Pablo.
with Raz. And I'm like, hey, that's my Raz. Like, what? Like,
I had an agent come up to me and say,
where's
Raz,
my...
I'm going to put you on our vendor list. I said, excuse me? He's like, we're going to put you on my vendor list for inspectors. I really like you. I'm like, well, I don't think you're going to like me after what I'm about to say right now. And she goes like, what do you mean? I'm like, don't put me on your vendor list. She goes, well, why not? I said, you're going to put me on my name as an inspector. You're going to put me on a list with a bunch of other inspectors? She goes, yeah. I said, don't waste your time. I don't want my name to be in the same room as subpar inspectors. I don't want to be associated with that same ballpark. I know what they are, and I know what I am. I have high value for myself. Do not do it. And another thing is when I've come across other agents that say to me, well, Raz, I understand all that, but we offer, and I'm pretty sure you've talked to other agents about this, we offer 3 inspectors or 3 plumbers or 3 termite inspectors to our clients, to let them choose.
Yeah.
With that twisted logic, so if it comes out to, if you only go out to try to convince a client that you're the best agent, do you offer them 2 other agents from different brokerages as well? Or do you tell your client that you're the best agent to represent them?
I mean, I work on a team with a big agent, and he sometimes will say, please don't get me in trouble, that you're welcome to go shop around with other agents, but, blah, 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 whatever they end up saying.
You guys are the best at what you can do. You have more experience in this area. You can sell or buy this house for them really well, everything. Same thing. Why would I give you 3 other options for you to choose from when I'm telling you, look, if you want to shop around with other inspectors, by all means, go for it. But if you want to ask me who we refer this guy. He's the best at what he does.
Yeah.
But it's your choice. You can do your...
And some people are very sensitive. They don't want to give their names on their vendor list. They do not. They are very, like, if I have a vendor list, builder, termite inspector, home inspector, plumber, housekeeper, those are mine. And I'm not telling them to anyone else. There's some people that are very sensitive. They don't.
To share the names? Mm-hmm. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I've
Can you
come
let me know
across
who these agents are?
No.
I'll be like little bastards. You haven't
No, I do not throw people under the bus, and you will not get me in a situation where I will say something bad about somebody or put someone in a position like that.
Well, I was going to inspect your house
Even
next
if
week.
you...
Now I'm going to have to charge you double the price. So...
Well, then you know what? I am dyeing my hair right after this.
Okay, I'm out of here, guys. All right, you guys have a good one.
And I will do a video so you guys can see, and then I'll send it to Raz, and I'll wear the hottest outfit just to make sure he
Not
sees what it looks
redhead.
like.
There's no red hair. There's no...
Like, plumbing, I would probably see above home inspection is something that people probably are always looking for, a reputable plumber. Always. Like, that's the first thing I think of.
Stay away from the major, big companies, because those guys, they all work on commission. So, like the Mike Diamonds and the Roto-Rooters and all that. if look for a nice company and talk to the person. And if you get a good vibe from the person, then try it out and see if they're right, and then shop their price around, and you'll see kind of where everyone falls, and if what the person said matches with what the other person that you brought in said. So then you'll know if the person is trying to lie to you or trying to make a bigger job bigger than it is. You'll find that out. All it takes is a little bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are such a ball of information. Raz, I mean, I will bring you back again.
The information, and I'm the ball.
I'm gonna bring you back with your wife, and she's going to spill all the tea about you. So you're gonna be on the spot.
Look, as long as I can fit through a foundation crawl space, that's all I care about.
As long as it's not hot tea.
And
Okay,
and
so
and if you're the one that's doing the instructions.
So before this episode, I looked up a joke, and this is not funny, which makes it even better. I looked up a joke, okay? Why did the general inspector hire a plumber and a termite inspector to be a part of his team?
Because I was lonely and I have no friends.
Stop. Because he wanted to ensure that nothing would bug him during the inspections, and he would know how to pipe up when he needed it.
Brunch.
That's like a dad joke.
That's what I'm saying. It's not funny, but, a little charming. You guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for
Raz,
having us.
everybody knows where they can find you. But Mike, plug yourself. Where can people find you?
mdrooter.com and my search MD Rooter Plumbing.
Okay.
For me, it's you can find me on Instagram, H&E Termite Solutions, or Pablo Engels on Instagram as well, or Google H&E Termite Solutions. You'll find us there. 5 stars.
Oh,
I have to.
I have to say
I
mine?
have to.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at inspector_Raz or at Magnum Opus Inspections. Or you can call me directly at 626-346-8877. Or if you see a bald, fat dude with a fedora walking through Rodeo Drive on a Tuesday afternoon, it's most probably me. So you can just say wave and say hi.
Every time I text Raz and I'm like, I have a referral I'm going to send them to. He's like, make sure they call my work number 627.
Yeah, because they call me. I'm like, who is this number? I don't know what this is.
Yeah, dude.
I have 2 numbers for the same phone.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Remember, you're always recommending me. Thank you guys for listening. And remember to follow the podcast. We are now on YouTube at Dumb Girl Podcast. You can follow me at Jessica J. Fury, at Jessica Fury Real Estate. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.